Single dad drove his drunk boss home after the party. What she said the next morning changed everything. Single dad Jacob Alvarez never liked office parties. He didn't drink. He didn't have time for drama. And with a 7-year-old daughter waiting at home, he usually ducked out early. But tonight, he stayed partly out of obligation. Partly because his boss, Madison Hale, had personally asked him to. Madison was a woman few dared to cross. CEO at only 34, sharp-tongued and brilliant, she ruled the marketing firm with quiet intensity. She didn't smile often, and she never stayed long at parties either. But tonight, she drank too much. Jacob noticed her swaying near the open bar, dismissing concerned coworkers with a wave. Eventually, she slumped in a corner booth, alone, head in her hands. He approached gently. "Miss Hale, you okay?" She lifted her head slowly, blinking. "You're the single dad, right? The one with the quiet little girl? What's her name?" "Lila," Jacob said. "Yeah, Lila, you're good people." Then she hiccuped. "I think I had too much wine. Want me to call someone for?" "You know," she muttered. "Everyone already left. Can you just take me home, please?" He hesitated. She was his boss. This could go wrong in a dozen ways. But he saw the vulnerability in her face, and something about it softened him. He nodded. The drive was quiet. Madison mumbled once about her father, then went silent. When he pulled into her gated driveway, she looked at him and said simply, "You're not like the others, Jacob. You don't want anything." He helped her to the door, watched her fumble with the key, and once she was inside safely, he left. He told no one, not his coworkers, not even Leela. The next morning, Jacob arrived early, like always. He didn't expect anything to change, till his phone buzzed. "Madison Hale, come to my office, now." He walked in slowly. She stood by the window, coffee in hand, gaze distant. "You told no one," she said without turning. "Of course not," he replied. "It wasn't anyone's business." She turned and looked at him, really looked. Her usual mask of steel was gone. "I don't let anyone see me like that," she said. "Ever. You didn't take a photo. You didn't tell a soul. You just made sure I got home." Jacob shrugged. "That's what decent people do." Madison stepped forward. "You've worked here for 4 years. No promotions, no complaints. I looked into your record. You turned down an executive assistant role last year because the hours clashed with your daughter's school pickups. I don't have anyone else," Jacob said. "Lila comes first." There was a long pause. Then, to his shock, Madison smiled, a real one. "How would you feel about a new role?" she asked. "Director of Client Relations. Better hours, better pay. I'll make sure it fits your schedule." Jacob blinked. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," she said, softer now, "and bring Lila by the office sometime. I'd like to meet the girl who means that much to a man." That afternoon, Jacob picked up Lila and told her the news. "Does that mean you'll be home more?" she asked. He smiled. "Yeah, baby. A lot more." And though he never quite understood why a single night changed so much, he would always remember the moment his drunk boss saw him not as a worker, but as a man worth trusting. And what she gave him the next day wasn't just a promotion. It was a new beginning. That weekend, Jacob took Leela to the park, and for the first time in years, he wasn't silently calculating overtime hours or grocery bills. He could just breathe. But change didn't come without whispers. By Monday, word of Jacob's sudden promotion had spread. A few coworkers exchanged looks behind his back. One even joked, "Must have been one hell of a party." Jacob ignored it. He'd been underestimated before. He was used to people assuming things about him, a single dad, soft-spoken, always passing on happy hours and office gossip. What they didn't know was that Jacob had been through fire, and he had no time for cheap rumors. What mattered was that he could now walk his daughter to school and be there when she got home. Wednesday morning, Mr. Alvarez. Madison's voice came through his office phone. My 10 o'clock canceled. Can you come up? He found her sitting behind her glass desk, heels off, sipping tea instead of coffee. She looked tired, but not the same kind of tired as before. Softer. Somehow, I saw the looks people gave you, she said before he could speak. Jacob stayed silent. Do you know why I offered you that promotion? He tilted his head. Because I drove you home. She chuckled, shaking her head. No, that just confirmed something I already suspected. You're the kind of person this company needs at the top. Someone who doesn't fake kindness for advantage. I'm just doing what I can for Leela, Jacob said quietly. And that's exactly why you'll go far, she said. You lead with purpose, not ego. There was a pause. I don't usually ask people personal questions, she continued. But, do you mind if I ask what happened to Leela's mom? Jacob hesitated. She passed away. Aneurysm, no warning. Leela was 3. Madison swallowed hard. I'm sorry. That explains a lot. He nodded, and something unspoken passed between them, a quiet understanding. 2 people who had survived more than they let on. That Friday, Madison surprised everyone by walking into the break room during lunch. She rarely left her office, let alone socialized with staff. But today, she was dressed down in a simple blouse and jeans and she had a guest. Lila. Jacob nearly dropped his sandwich. What? She asked to visit. Madison said with a small smile. Said she wanted to see where her dad makes things better. Lila beamed. Ms. Hale said she used to be scary. She's not scary. Madison laughed. So did the whole room. It was the moment everything shifted. Rumors died. The staff saw a different side of their COA side only one man had ever unlocked. Weeks turned into months. Under Jacob's quiet leadership, client retention rose. Employees felt heard. Madison, once cold and distant, began to re-engage. She took lunches with her team. She even volunteered at Leela's school fundraiser, something she'd never done for anyone before. One night, after a company banquet, Jacob walked her to her car. You know, she said, pausing at the door, the night you drove me home, I was thinking about quitting. He looked at her, surprised. I was burned out, lonely. Everyone wanted something, and I just felt empty. But you didn't quit, Jacob said. No, she smiled. Because someone reminded me what good people look like, and what kind of leader I wanted to be. She looked at him then, not like a boss to an employee, but like a woman seeing someone for the first time. Thank you, Jacob. A year later, Jacob still worked for Herb, but their relationship had changed. Dinners together, playground trips with Lila, long walks after work. He never planned to fall for his boss. She never planned to let anyone in. But that one quiet night when a tired, kind man did the right thing, without expecting anything in return, set off a chain reaction neither of them saw coming. Sometimes, the road to a better life doesn't start with a raise or recognition. Sometimes, it starts with a ride home.